That is a few highlights from Will Levis's rookie year with the Tennessee Titans. The Titans quarterback joins us now here on 104.5 The Zone. A lot different world from the last time you sat down with us idiots.
Yeah, no, right up here, yeah. No, that was, I think, around this time last year, and I was kind of waiting for an opportunity, not knowing when it was going to come, and, I was ready for it when it came, and I'm really blessed to be where I am right now and, going into the training camp as the number one guy, and we've gotten a lot of work so far and already developed a lot as a team, so I'm proud of the guys.
The difference in you just at the podium versus when we were talking to you back then and how much more that starting quarterback aura and the way that you carry yourself and all that, like it's noticeably different, which is always funny to me to see when you guys kind of like go through that transformation.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear from your perspective what that looks like or the difference, because I feel like I've always just kind of done what feels natural, but maybe what feels natural changes based on your situation. So, but I feel very comfortable. I always go up there and just try to be myself and be honest with how I handle myself and just be respectful at the end of the day. So, just trying to be the best leader for my guys up there and speaking my mind and letting my heart pour out.
And it's not like it's a totally different world for you've been a starting quarterback before,
for sure,
obviously, but this is at the highest level, and there's a lot more scrutiny on everything that happens now versus when you were here working with the threes and kind of dealing with the preseason injury and the frustrations of that, and heading into a rookie season that did not that came with some adversity, which everybody goes through. How much different do you just generally feel on the way that things, knowing that it is your team, you are the starting quarterback, being able to operate that way, having command in the room, and not having to worry about things like stepping on other people's toes?
It just lets you play more free and just be more like yourself. I think like the last part you said there, when you're the guy, there's nothing holding you back from a leadership standpoint, and you're able to voice the things that you might not have thought was appropriate to voice before based on the position that you were in, and be able to just act with more confidence and a little bit more swag and just being myself and feeling myself in the moment and how I've been playing. And I think you got to earn that with how you play on the field. And I think I've grown a lot in this training camp to build on those things and to get more comfortable in those areas. Those are opportunities that you get only if you're the starting guy. So it's been a really cool developmental process throughout this offseason and training camp.
Joint training camp practices just wrapped. Wrapped a little early today. Brian said at the podium that he felt like you guys, dead legs were starting to creep in, felt like it was best to kind of cut the work short. And I know he expressed disappointment on behalf of everybody on how today's operation, kind of the way that things finished.
Yeah, no, I think yesterday, a long day. We knew that we were going to have two hard ones in a row. Guys were saying it's going to feel like 2 game days, but that's just the mental side of football. You got to push through, come out, and have the same focus and energy that we did yesterday. And definitely moments where it was evident that we didn't, just with some pre-snap stuff and decision making here and there. So we got to be better, but those are eye-opening things for us and giving us things that we need to point at to make sure that we work on and get better at. So I'm proud of the work that we got in, but we're definitely going to watch that film and wish we had some of those plays back.
Titans quarterback Will Levis here with us on 104.5 The Zone. Joint training camp practices just concluded. So last year, Lucas was not brave enough to face you in person. Last year, he had to do it over a Zoom call when noted Tennessee fan and Tennessee alum Lucas Panzica was a Will Levis detractor. Are you prepared to offer a public apology instead of just sitting there off to the side?
Now, they were inside the bubble last year, which is the reason why. But it's okay. Buck's trying to deflect from his draft opinions from that time, but we won't do that. I'm one that can face the music, Will. I was one of those people when you were coming out, one of the quote-unquote doubters, if that's what you call them. Yes, I am a Tennessee alum. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. We'll leave that for the people to decide. But
he doesn't care about that. He just wants your apology.
Look, you
give him the apology.
I don't have nothing.
You don't have anything prepared?
I don't have anything planned.
You don't have anything written down?
Yeah.
You knew he was going to be on the show today.
I didn't. So, all right, fine. We'll just do something straight off the cuff from the heart. I'll riff. We don't prepare on this show anyway.
Is that music in the background?
So I'll just riff. I don't know. Maybe something off the top of my head. Maybe something like, do you like poetry, Will?
I do. Okay. I do. Dang. How many stanzas is that?
In Nashville's realm. Shut the hell up.
No, don't spray me with the mayonnaise.
Like cat.
He has hit me with that damn thing.
You're like a cat.
3 different times.
In Nashville's realm, where titans soar, a tale unfolds, I must implore. Will Levis, a quarterback's name. Apologies due for doubting your game. On gridiron fields, your prowess shines. Precision throws.
Look him in the eyes.
Like rhythmic rhymes. I got to read the thing.
Okay.
In pockets strong, you stand and strive. Apologies flow, for Billie Jeans has arrived. A quarterback symphony, a dance so sweet. Forgive my doubts. Lay them at your feet. With each touchdown, a redemption song. I admit I was mistaken. Oh, so wrong. So here's a verse, a humble ode to Will Levis on this poetic road.
No creed.
Make passes connect like verses in flight, apologies woven in the fabric of the night.
There it is. Round of applause. Lucas Panzica.
That was very impressive.
Was that very weird for
you? That
you?
was beautiful. That was beautiful. No, I mean
that was
there's
AI.
definitely
Don't let him.
Was it really?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't
There
ruin
was
it.
no help from artificial intelligence in the making of that
Oh,
poem.
That was AI.
I was a
Can't trust anyone
communications
these
major.
days. Can't trust anyone. No, that is very sweet and heartfelt, and I appreciate it. And it's definitely funny hearing from the Tennessee fans or fans in general who just had their certain opinions about me coming out. Hey, the jury's still out. I feel like I got to do a whole lot more before I can fully earn the trust of everyone in the fan base. So we got high hopes for a team. Last year, definitely just team-wise, didn't even get close to the heights that we wanted to reach. And we got motivation to go do some special things this year. So I mean, I'm just gonna keep working to do that and keep proving the doubters wrong.
You always have that motivation, right? However you describe the chip on your shoulder and whatever that may be from player to player and stuff like that. But for you in particular, like, it felt like you bought yourself a ton of goodwill with the way that you were able to debut against the Falcons and how great you guys were as a team on that day. And, maybe the Oilers uniforms have something to do with it. There's a little bit of poetry to that in and of itself. But it seems like that was very quickly put aside from the vast majority of the fans who might have doubted you at that point. And it feels like you have a lot of that buy-in already prior to, accomplishing what you ultimately set out to accomplish.
For sure, yeah. I think that first game definitely helped, and that was very special. I wish that I can have a lot more performances like that so people, don't remember that game as much. Just to think that a lot of people keep pointing back to my first game when I played a bunch more games after that. I'm due for another one like that, and to keep pushing myself to performing to the level where I know I can. So, I know we got the guys to do it this year. I got confidence in myself, and just got to keep working and keep trying to reach those heights, like I said, that we're aiming for.
In particular, the way that they've surrounded you with as much talent and a coaching staff who's so quarterback specific and centric. Let's talk about Lloyd Cushenberry, who's a man of few words, at least with us, understandably so, like most good centers. But how much easier things become when you have a guy like that who's seen it, who's been a starter. I think he was a 16-game starter as a rookie, if I remember correctly. How much are you feeling that ease the degree of difficulty on you already?
Very much so. I've given Lloyd his flowers, and I've praised him and his ability to run the show in that room and to be the leader that they need and to be confident and coordinated with his calls and his communication up there up front. We're on the same page a lot of the time, and he's been able to help me with how he sees things protection wise and how I think I can help him and the rest of the guys up there in certain situations too. So he's very versed in the point system, and he knows his stuff and knows what we're trying to get done offensively, and just a very talented physical player as well. So he's been a light for us, and can't wait to just keep getting better with him.
And another one of those guys who's brought in here to help you specifically, and we've seen the dividends of that already on the practice field, Calvin Ridley. We talked to Calvin yesterday again. You guys trying to continue to fine-tune your connection and things like that. And I know he was less than satisfied with the work that you were able to get in on the first day. From your perspective, what's been, for the audience who hasn't been able to get out here for practice or doesn't see you guys in the way that you work beyond just the practice field, what does fine-tuning that connection look like?
Just keep working. There's nothing else to it. You could talk all you want, and we're definitely talking and dialing up and detailing the things that we're looking to do, but you just got to get the reps, and that's what we're doing on a daily basis. And we know that it'll come, and we know on game days we're going to be able to get to that level where it's going to be second nature to us, but we just got to keep working and trusting the process. And I've felt really good about how the ball's been coming out of my hands. I know he feels good about his routes, but it's just sometimes there's just a little bit of that disconnect, and it's just going to come with as I get more comfortable with him and get more reps.
Well, you balance so much this offseason, though, like between what you're doing with Special Olympics. I know you had a bunch of Special Olympians out here today, and the proceeds of the Mayo cologne, which is in front of me, Will Levis number 8, courtesy of Hellman's. I know that is going to a couple of different charitable causes as well. Lucas keeps spraying me in the neck.
You're drenched in it.
I'm not in love with it only because I keep at random points. I keep getting sprayed with it.
Yeah, no, you can't overdo it. You got to just.
You can't overdo it. I think it's been overdone.
A tasteful amount, one or two spritzes is just fine.
But I don't want him to smell a tasteful amount. I want people to turn heads in the worst possible way.
Well, that's typically how it goes around here. But for you, like balancing a new offense, a lot of new personnel, and everything else that you've been doing this offseason, whether it be community work, charity, going and being at the Masters. I know you took in some NBA playoff games and stuff like that. Like, how busy has this offseason been for you, and now with the ramp up to the real thing?
It's been cool to be able to take time to do things I love outside of ball, but then also being able to keep ball the main thing. And obviously with the new offense and the new staff, it was going to be a grind throughout OTAs to start learning that playbook and to come back to camp, with a great feel of it, which I feel like I did, and we were able to hit the ground running in camp and get that much better throughout camp so far. So just proud of how we've worked and how I've been able to handle myself. Just, the work ethic ramps up once we start camp, and throughout the season I know I'm going to be dialed in and focused in on our game plan and ready for whoever we're facing, and knowing what I'm going to get and be ready to have the answers for it. So the off season was fun, but now that we got ball, it's all ball.
I know you did that hour with 3HL, and you were kind of talking about the offense and how it creates the answers to the test for you, and sometimes you almost have to try to not overthink that the answer is right there in front of you. How's that kind of gone now that we've been through a couple of weeks of camp and you've been as familiar with the system as you've ever been?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm playing faster and I'm making quick, decisive choices with the ball. It's coming out of my hand fast. I'm not passing up things that are there right away, even though we might want to be dialing up something bigger later in the progression that we might think will hit. I'm not going to pass up one if they're going to give it to me. So I feel like that's what the main thing that I've been proud of myself in is just been taking a profit and not getting bored with doing the boring thing, and you just got to keep working to doing that as consistently as possible.
Whose idea was the cologne?
It was theirs. I mean, they just
Hellman's for what it's worth.
Yeah, no, they just thought, those cliche cologne commercials that are just so over the top of all those designer brands, those are funny in their own right. And then when you just take a parody of it and make a mayonnaise scented cologne, and you get someone like me who's going to go all in on everything that they're doing, I'm going to try to make that as believable as possible and bring my charisma and just funniness to it. It was a lot of fun. We grinded on that shoot. We were here at the facility for I think 9 hours, getting that all done. And they just said the more serious you take it, the funnier it'll be, and that's definitely how I approached it. And I'm so just stoked about how it turned out. And like you said, it's going to be going to a good cause, which is the best part, to Special Olympics and youth villages. So just a really fun project overall, and they've made my whole partnership with them just a whole lot of fun.
Very specific question on that. How many takes did it take for you to say, whisper Eggy into a microphone?
I've been whispering Eggy into my ear for 2 days.
I think I probably said that line. So I was pretty much locked in a room for the voiceover for an hour and change. And I probably said every one of those singular words, I'd say around 15 to 20 times.
Sounds about right.
Just over, like the Madden people.
I'd say
it's over and over and over and over again.
I said 4 or 5 in a row, and then go to the next one 4 or 5 in a row, and then you go through it again a few times.
All right.
So it was pretty crazy.
Well, we've got a member of the staff that smells particularly bad who I would like to bring into the mix right now, Robert Walsh, who reeks of cigarettes constantly on a regular basis. We've hosed him off in Will Levis number 8, Hellman's Mayonnaise.
Bought him a lifetime supply.
We needed to. Unfortunately, it's only $8, so not only is it going to a good cause, but it is cost-effective as well. I would expect to see it in every honky-tonk with every bathroom attendant here in the near future. Another potential marketing opportunity for Will Levis. But you want to give Levis, your mayonnaise pitch for next year?
I absolutely do. So I love that you're leaning into it, right? It's fun, but you've got to go bigger every year. Next year, you're going to have to come up with a new idea. Well, I've saved you the time.
Okay.
I've done the dirty work. Dream with me, if you will. You're under center. The camera's facing you. You look into the camera and say, in football, protection's everything. You take the snap, you drop back, but instead of a football, you turn around, and it's sunscreen. You open it up, squirt that all in your hands.
What a sound.
Hellman's, the finest sunscreen known to man. And you apply it to yourself. It's weird. It's funny. I feel like you could do it up, and, I'll just take a slight 15%, man.
Slight 15%.
15 points.
15% for 15 SPF.
There you go. Hey, we're going to need something.
SPF.
I need like 30 or 50.
Somebody white
for
like
sure.
me, you're going to need 80 or 100, man.
I'm going to wake up one day and my skin's just not going to be there because I can't put sunscreen on during practice.
Oh,
'Cause
no?
Or else I'll
Oh, it
sweat
just
so much
sweats
it'll
it
just
off.
go right down. So I got some crazy tan lines throughout camp. But
you-
hey, you might be onto something there. I don't know if the properties that work in it now will be effective for sunscreen, but they can probably add some SPF, I think.
Yeah, they can figure it out.
That's as diplomatically away as you've been turned down for anything in your entire life.
Yeah, most people are very direct and say, ooh, no.
Please go away from me now.
Well, I appreciate you being a good sport about all the stupid stuff that we do around here.
Yeah,
Thanks for
people in the
hanging out.
chat are calling for an eggy audible, by the way. But maybe we should take that up with Coach Callahan.
God, we're going to hear Hellman's in the huddle so at a Titans game near you. Will Levis, Titans quarterback, good enough to sit down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Buddy, I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, so we have a few more minutes here, so we'll let Will get on with his day because we've wasted enough of his important time, and we'll call last call for phone calls before we update some polls. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in here for the last segment. We'd be happy to have you. Do you feel better about your relationship with the starting quarterback now that you've recited poetry to him?
I've been carrying that weight around for over a year. So, yes,
there's a
thank you.
handshake, diplomacy at its heights.
Yes.
Nothing makes me happier.
Your lucky tears didn't flow, if we're being honest.
Listen, it wouldn't be the first time on this radio show for one reason or another where somebody has broken down in tears. Do you feel proud of what we just did?
No, I never do.
Okay.
No.
I just wanted to
never
make sure
do.
that we were all on the same page of how much we just wasted a starting quarterback, one of 32 starting quarterbacks times in the NFL.
Almost always instant regret.
Okay, good. That's in keeping with the theme of the show, which is excellent. So now, with further regret, we bring you the polls. Let's go, Jackson. Spot on, he wasn't ready. People are hitting us with the Game of Thrones. Shame.
Yes.
Shame. Yes, absolutely.
The
We should be
polls
ashamed.
are presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? Mary Claire says the fact that y'all have soccer people on the station, and I haven't heard a peep about the U.S. women's national team winning gold against Brazil at that. We did talk about the USA women's team and Mallory Swanson scoring the game-winning goal and
We did.
capturing their first gold medal since 2012.
But it's okay. We
Great
can shine
run.
more light on that. I
Yeah.
don't mind that as constructive criticism.
Yeah, men's team finally getting a coach.
Kirby being dismissive, saying that was last week. I don't care, Kirby. They're better than the men's team. I'd rather talk about the women's team than the men's team. Who is it? That's true.
Where am I? I lost. Oh, Rand on the F&M Bank chat
We
says,
can't even do the polls.
Rand said the dumbest thing in sports was us doing the dumbest thing in sports during the height of joint practice.
Really? Who said that?
Rand on Twitter.
Oh, I thought you said Rand Carthon came on and said that us doing the dumbest thing.
No. Ran with a D at the end, a listener who tweeted us on Twitter.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't
Yes.
care about that.
Now, Rand Carthon did take issue with something he heard on the morning show. He did come out here because he had something to say. What was that, Robert?
Ramon was asked if he owns cowboy boots, if he wears them around town, and he said, no, I do not, but I do own a pair of Chelsea boots, which Rand said he was up in his office. He perked his ear up, and he said, there's no way that Ramon Foster said that. Came down, and he sure did say that. Rand
sure
said
did.
he's going to get, if he said, if I ever see you in those, I'm going to get you some team issue sneakers. Those better never be on the sideline while you're covering my Titans.
Some Chelsea boots.
What's wrong with
Unbelievable.
Chelsea boots?
Everything.
Anyway, what is the matchup that you would most want to see between Titans and Seahawks at joint practice? And why don't we do this? Read the matchup, and you tell me one takeaway from that matchup that we saw over 2 days. Scoob, who is out here today, decked out in his Titans
He
gear.
has to be so sweaty.
Yes.
So sweaty
and like
all
a
the time
big,
in that jumpsuit. It's like a prison jumpsuit.
It's a jumpsuit, yeah, covered in Titans memorabilia.
Which,
and
by the
things.
way, did you see? Which, by the way, did you see the shirt, the Vols shirt that Jason Swain wore on the radio show the other day? It's a horizontal stripe, black and white striped Vols shirt. He looked like a somebody who's going to prison in a Vols themed gear.
Scoob wanted to see running backs and defensive linemen. So let's just say Titans running backs and the offensive line against the Seahawks D-line.
I thought that the Seahawks defensive front was definitely more viable. I thought that the running backs themselves found ways to make some hay beyond the offensive line. I thought that Peter Skoronski and Lloyd Cushenberry working in tandem got some good push. I thought that J.C. Latham got by a couple of different pass rushers, not just the first team but the second team, and that, I think, is completely on par with where he is at this point in his rookie development.
A lot of people wanted to see the big guys in the trenches. Dave says he wanted to see Jeff with Sweat against the Seahawks O-line.
Jeff had far more success against the Seahawks defensive line than the Titans offensive line did against the Seahawks defensive line.
Over under 4.5 fights at Titans and Seahawks joint practice this week. And
under.
70% went the under, and the under definitely there was not really a proper, I mean, maybe, you know,
today,
there was
a helmet
swing
got
today.
pulled off. There was a swing.
There was a swing. It was a half a fight.
It was, Bleacher Report has buried this with the way that they say, "Oh my God, shocking training camp fight at Titan Seahawks joint training camp practice." When you get the push notifications, then you just see a couple of pushing and shoving, maybe an expletive here or there. Nothing to be concerned about.
What's the biggest strength of the Titans defense going to be? DBs or D-line? 74% majority are going with the DBs.
Over the D-line?
Over the D-line.
Interesting. Those the polls?
Those are the polls.
Excellent. That's the show. That's going to do it for us. A fun show. Check out the podcast. Rewatch everything that we did on YouTube if you're so inclined. I know the Will Levis interview will be posted independently. We appreciate him hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Stay right there because Blaine Bishop is coming up next.